we've been highlighting a couple positions because, everybody's kind of got their favorite recruits and guys you really hope Michigan gets and blah, blah. And you're starting to do some math here and realize, man, wait, like who's getting left out, right? So running back's been a really interesting spot. Very early on, we identified Jordan Marshall as a big recruiting target. That's a win on and off the field because of the Ohio State battle. Taking a guy like that, somebody they wanted. He's already skyrocketed up their rankings once, but I identified him as somebody I thought I wouldn't be shocked if ends up number one running back, potentially, 5-star status by the end of this. He's that good. We'll see how he goes. Yeah. And the other name that's been tied to him since the beginning has been Taylor Tatum. We've got a couple other prospects we can talk about as well, but I think everything kind of starts and ends with Tatum. You've had a future cast in for him for a little while. There's a time period where it kind of felt like things were maybe not shading away from Michigan, but I don't know, just wasn't as solid as before. But where things stand right now, I mean, I think you feel as confident as you have in this whole process for Tatum.
Yeah, no, I do. As you said, it's kind of been through this, I guess, a little bit of a metamorphosis, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But I feel good now as I ever have that Michigan's going to end up with Taylor Tatum in this class to kind of fill out that running back tandem. And that's a heck of a tandem. I mean, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's quite a tandem.
Number 3 and number 5 running backs in the class today. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if either one of them end up higher ranked by the end of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, it's you kind of when we found out that other schools were going to be involved, a school like USC, who has a running back committed like Michigan, Georgia has options, and they have a couple of guys. And it doesn't really seem like USC and Georgia now are becoming factors. I don't know whether that's, maybe more for USC's case that they think that he's kind of a strong lean to Michigan, and Georgia kind of has different options where they can say, okay, that's fine. If you want to go here, we'll go elsewhere. But either way, I think the strong buzz coming out of Texas is that, he's heavily considering Michigan. And if that decision were to come today, I would 100% pick Michigan. And I think that's going to be the choice. I'm not really sure when a decision is going to come. He's visiting at the end of June, an official visit. Maybe he announces during or maybe he announces after. I don't know, but I think the big question right now is, could Michigan go 3 in the running back spot? Because there's names out there, but I haven't really gotten anyone to specifically say, whether they're going 3. I asked someone, involved with the recruiting and stuff about Kapana, and my response was who? So that kind of speaks about what's going on there. It's just another name, but I don't think really Michigan needs to go 3, but if they feel comfortable taking 3, I think that's fine. But
I want them to.
It doesn't hurt going 3, but you're settling for Taylor Tatum and Jordan Marshall. And you decide to not go 3. Oh, darn. No, that's terrible news. Not really. That's 2 of the best running backs in the 2024 class that are going to be in your running back stable that's already full heading into the 2024 season. So, it's do they go 3? I don't know. I haven't been able to get anyone to say yes 100% that they're going 3. I know there's a prediction for Kapana out there elsewhere, and and I'm not discrediting that, or I'm not disputing that fact either. It's just I'm speaking from a standpoint of where I'm getting my info from and who I'm talking to. And I've spoken to the kid directly, and he's kind of been in the process of, he's been saying like, I'm aware of it, but Michigan's in my top group, but I'm still in the process of kind of figuring things out. And, he's going to take a visit to Michigan, so we'll see what happens. But, if I were to say today, it's Jordan Marshall and Taylor Tatum in that group.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. I can't get the feeling that Dupree and now Capana, the name that kind of shot up this last week or so. Not that they're backup plans, right? That's where I don't know. That's where it feels like they could go 3, because even the folks that think either Dupree or Capana or some of these other guys might be heavy Michigan leans, it's not because they think Tatum's not coming. They also think Tatum's coming, right? So it's kind of this interesting dynamic where, like you said, we would hear somebody would say, "Oh, I don't know, look at USC," and then I would talk to my guy in Texas. He's like, "Nope." And then even some USC folks like us were doing 180s and kind of telling folks, "Yeah, I don't think we're going after Tatum." And then Georgia was the other one where it's like, "Well, they don't really have anybody yet." So we could see Georgia, that could be the Southern option. And then now they're trying to flip the Florida State kid. Yeah. Right. So, Antoine, real quick, bringing up Capana, the 3-star from Nevada, looking like Blake and just being underrated. Yep. His tape is incredible. And I was giving a lot of props to Hart on our board this week, just because I think he's doing everything. He's landing the top guys like Marshall, potentially Tatum, and he's also finding some of these underrated dudes where you watch their tape and you're like, whoa. Now he only had 70 carries last year, but for 1,001 yards.
It's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, he's explosive. He does a lot of the things that you would want with Michigan. He hits the hole quick, good cuts. The dude's full speed instantly. He's a really good player. But I think we've been addressing folks because immediately it was like, wait, does this mean Tatum's not coming? Is this bad for Tatum? There's been no signs that has anything to do with it.
Yeah, no, those two aren't mutually exclusive at all. It's not even, that's not even a comparison.
And I'll tell you what, the way Michigan plays football and the way the transfer portal is these days and et cetera, I don't think it would be crazy to take 3 running backs. I really don't. But I'm not saying they will. I don't know, blah, 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 but I wouldn't be shocked.
Right. Well, and you never know. Capana might be a late ad too. I mean, because you can get through the season and say, okay, this is a hypothetical. Let's say Stokes and I don't know, Cole Cabana leave. They enter the portal. Now you've got an extra spot at your running back room. Okay, now you can add Capana into your group. Now there's 3 running backs and problem solved. Now you've evened it out. And even out the process. So, it's I always say this when it comes to recruiting, when people ask me, oh, who is Michigan going to get next? Who's going to commit? Half the time, these guys who commit, we aren't even talking about them in May, in June.
Right.
Some of these guys pop up in November, sometimes even December or after.
Darius Clemens was my favorite.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, these guys come in out of nowhere. So, maybe, as I said, Capana is a late ad, and you add to your group of Marshall and Tatum. But, there's always a name or two that pops up out of nowhere that we're not even thinking of right now. And there's always a situation that pops up that we're not even thinking of right now.
Yep.
It's just so early to kind of, I guess, hypothesize how a guy like Capana factors in when you've got a guy like Tatum coming in next month and all, things that we're hearing are pointing to them getting Michigan. So there's so many situations that still need to be played out, still need to be fleshed out, even on Michigan's roster that could still need to be fleshed out. So
well, this is new territory for us. Michigan's normally got 5 commits at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Barbecue's coming up and it's like, okay, whatever. I said 16 last time. I think it's actually 17.
Yeah.
Because with Cole, that's outrageous.
Yeah. Half those visitors are actually going to be commits.
Yeah.
Not targets this time around.
Right. So, and I think that's a good point. I just touching on, again, kind of wrap up the thing is you just have to be happy with what Michigan's doing. Mike Hart is doing an incredible job. Like you said, we don't know all these different scenarios. I would say they're just planning for all those different scenarios. It's that simple. And Hart's killing it, man. Every time I talk to, I don't know if it's because of the gray hair, me being older, you and I keep joking about I do better with parents than I do the recruits. But when I talk to parents or coaches or whatever, these old folks like me, they just rave about Mike Hart, man. They love him. They absolutely love the way he recruits and, the way he comes in and learns about a program and shows just genuine interest in these kids. So they're killing it. Whatever happens, I do think it's going to be Marshall and Tatum. And I'm biased because I like Capana's film. I like Dupree's film. I wouldn't be mad if they took 3, but yeah, there's no negative signs. Tatum, we still feel really good about. You've got your future cast there. So,
yep.
So
we didn't really touch on Dupree.
No,
I don't think. I mean, no, not to rain on your parade, but I don't think Michigan is going to get Dupree. I don't think Michigan's even a factor for Dupree right now. He is visiting, but I just don't think he's being as highly coveted by Michigan as Dupree would like to be.
I'm going to be honest with you. Half the reason I want Michigan to get him is if they don't, I think he's going to Wisconsin.
Yep.
And that dude is a Wisconsin running back.
Yep.
And the only reason he won't destroy us is because they're running air raid offense for some reason.
Yeah.
Potentially. But I watched that dude, and he's Braylon. He's Jonathan Taylor. Just Wisconsin, when they went on that run where they just had a dude every single time at running back, like that's who he reminds me of. He'd be such a good, again, it's going to be so weird to see Wisconsin not being Wisconsin this year, like running air raid. I don't know. Maybe that I'm wrong on that, because what is Illinois the other one too? That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's either right now it's Wisconsin or Illinois.
At least he'll be in the West, I guess. But I really like the
Illinois too. He'd be really good.
Yeah, they're all that. I mean, that's the thing. And again, like Antoine said, when I see an offer or we hear somebody's trending, and it's like, okay, look at the rankings. Okay, look at the offer list. Sometimes it's like, oh, the offer list outmatches ranking, vice versa, blah blah blah. Sometimes you're like, oh, why are we going after him? And then if you put on their huddle highlight tape, and again, I know it's highlights, there's no lowlights, but it's just like, how did they find this dude?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Bishop Gorman's a powerhouse. Don't get me wrong, but still.
That helps.
Yeah, but they're doing a great job. That's all that matters. And as of today, we still think Tatum's going to end up blue. So we'll see how that goes.